Welcome to KFOT. The Old Testament is full of the people, places, stories, and celebrations that were well known to Jesus and his friends. Knowing about the Old Testament helps us know more about Jesus, his friends, and the Old Testament things that they mention. Hi everyone, it's Miss Judy. This summer with KFOT, we have heard a lot of the stories from the Old Testament. And we've had a lot of wonderful sharing from our church family. Today, we're going to look at our family tree and remember the stories and the sharing. Let's take a look. G is for God and reminds us of the very first thing in the Old Testament, the story of creation. Our next leaf has 3 letters, M for Moses, M for Miriam, and A for Aaron. Moses, Miriam, and Aaron were siblings. They were Israelites, and they lived in Egypt during the time that the Israelites were enslaved. We heard a lot about the Israelites. We learned about when Moses was a baby and he was saved by being put in a little basket boat and being adopted by the princess and growing up in the palace. We learned about when Moses did something against the law and ran away from Egypt to become a shepherd. God got Moses' attention with the burning bush, a bush that was completely on fire, but wasn't being damaged by the fire. God sent Moses and his brother Aaron back to Egypt to tell the Pharaoh, to tell the king, to let the Israelites go. And part of what convinced the Pharaoh to finally let them go were the 10 plagues, including the Passover. When the Israelites left Egypt, God made a way for them to cross the Red Sea. And when they got to the other side, Miriam, along with the others, celebrated that they had been saved from slavery in Egypt. The Israelites traveled in the wilderness for 40 years, and lots of things happened. God provided for them in many different ways, including sending manna every morning, a special kind of food. God also gave the Israelites the 10 Commandments, instructions on life with God and life with other people. Another thing that happened to the Israelites in the wilderness is that they encountered some dangerous venomous snakes, and God had an unusual way to heal them from these snake bites. He had them look up to a statue, a depiction of a snake up on a pole, the bronze serpent. God had the Israelites build other things while they were out in the wilderness, including the Ark of the Covenant, a special container to hold things that would remind the Israelites of how God kept his promises. So our leaf for Moses, Miriam, and Aaron reminds us of lots of things that happened to the Israelites. Our next leaf has an R for Rahab. Rahab was someone who helped the Israelite spies and was kept safe and would become an ancestor of Jesus. Our next leaf is a J for Joshua. Joshua is who became the leader after Moses. And Joshua is who was in charge when the Israelites marched around the town of Jericho and the walls came tumbling down. So those are all our stories that we learned about this year in KFOT. Now let's remember all the wonderful sharing from this summer. Our first leaf reminds us of when Miss Kathy and Miss Laura shared a video about their dogs, Jax and especially Dune, who loves to sing. Our next leaf reminds us of when Mr. J, Miss Georgia, and Jimmy shared about perseverance. Next, we have a J for Mr. James, who shared a recipe for egg muffins with us. Next is an M for Miss Marie, who showed us about the incense at church. Our next leaf reminds us of a lakeside stroll with Miss Patty, Mr. Robert, and their dog Juliet. Next, we saw travel photos from Miss Suzanne. Our next leaf reminds us of when Miss Angela, Orrin, and Ivan shared with us about labyrinths. Our next leaf reminds us of Miss Ivy, Mr. Kevin, and baby Elijah, and when Miss Ivy shared with us about her African drum. Next is a letter J for Mr. Jonathan and the bike ride that he showed us. Our next leaf is a letter I for Ivan and reminds us of his pogo stick. Next is R for Mr. Richard and his beautiful photos. And our last leaf is another J that stands for Miss Judy, for me. And I've been so happy to share with you all summer. It's been fun to learn about the Old Testament that Jesus and his friends knew so well. And now we know a little bit more about Jesus and his friends. And when in the New Testament they mention things from the Old Testament, we will recognize what they're talking about. Thank you to everyone who shared this summer. And thank you for joining us for KFOT, Kids Formation Old Testament. Take care.